And your high maintenance. Man, your high maintenance. Would you, for pity's sake?
Great. Well, hello.
Grace Rose, that was interesting. Where are you, Grace? What car are you in?
I'm sorry, we were dropping Lindsay off at the airport. So, and we just got back in the car.
She left?
Yeah, she left. She's gone. So I'm going to be doing the Zoom from the car.
The fact that her parents put something in the video for Skew
I
was
know.
the cutest thing I've ever seen. At first I was like, who is that? And then I was like, ah!
No.
It made me happy.
So, Mr. C, when we talk about number 16 objective, I'm going to have to be on like pause because I have to go to my Google Docs app. But I'll still be here.
Well, you should borrow your whoever's driving cell phone and do one for one and the other for the other.
I wonder if it's like you just can't see me, but you can hear me, but I can download.
I don't know.
Docs.
I don't know what happens. You can just switch to the other app, switch back and forth. I'm pretty sure that the Zoom will keep running.
All right.
All right. Who wants to start?
Me.
Okay, give me a interaction.
Okay. I had parasitism.
Parasitism?
Yeah. And I had some examples of it if you want that.
Okay, why don't you tell us, excuse me, why don't you tell us what it is and then give examples?
Okay. It's a relationship between two species of plants or animals in which one benefits at the expense of the other. So this is a negative one. And sometimes it doesn't kill the host, but sometimes it does. A few examples are tapeworms, barnacles.
Okay, just a second. Somebody's really giving some feedback echo here, so I'm gonna mute you for a minute. And that's weird. Except you didn't mute. Well, oh, I see. Okay, so Doro, it's just you. Go ahead.
Okay.
But for now, I'm feeding back.
Am I good? Yes. Okay. Okay. So parasitism, I don't know if I said that right. It's a relationship between two species of plants or animals in which one benefits at the expense of the other. Some examples are tapeworms, fleas, barnacles, and tapeworms, they like are inside the intestines of animals like cows, pigs, and humans, and they pretty much just like feed off the host.
All right. Your definition probably came from the book, just like the book said. There are some nuances in the definition that books may not pick up as easily. You had something about one species benefits, the others hurt. There are non-parasitism relationships where that can happen. Generally, in a parasite relationship, so I don't know who's driving the car that Grace Rose is in, and I don't know if they'll be able to hear this or not, but a parasite is kind of like you and your parents. You just keep sucking off of them without all that much give back. But, okay, so maybe that's not fair. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But there are a lot of relationships where something benefits and something else is hurt. Like, let's say I've got this little grove of walnut trees, black walnuts. Maybe another 10 or 20 years when I'm about ready to keel over, I'll sell the logs and make money on them. And maybe then I won't care if I make money. Maybe my kids will sell the logs and make money. I don't know, but black walnut trees drop a chemical from their leaves called jugulone, which you don't need to know. And it makes a lot of plants their growth is stunted or they are killed by jugulone. But we wouldn't call that a parasite because the plant under the tree is not somehow sucking nutrients out of the tree. So usually the parasite relationship, one is hindered, but it's hindered pretty much specifically by the other one growing on or in it, temporarily or permanently. So, what are those called? Lampreys. Sea lampreys in the Great Lakes will latch onto the side of a fish, and they've got these little raspy mouth parts that grind through the scales into the skin, and as it drinks water, as the skin oozes blood and whatever else, the lamprey eats that, and you can get enough lampreys on to kill it, or maybe not enough to kill it. Somewhere along the way, the lamprey may fall off, may not be permanent. But if you get tapeworms, you will, if you don't treat them, probably have tapeworms for a good long time. Maybe not the rest of your life. If you get roundworms and don't treat them, ascarids, I'm scared. They will probably will be there for the rest of your life. All right, who wants to do another one? I saw Mies first. Well, I think you can unmute yourself, but there you go, Mies. I just unmuted you.
All right. My favorite one was mutualism, and it's where two species like benefit from each other based on whatever they do. And my favorite example was a clownfish living in a sea anemone.
Yep, we've all seen Nemo, I would assume. Nemo is actually, biologically speaking, Nemo is actually a pretty good movie as far as accuracy, other than the, sharks.
Fish are friends, not food.
That's correct. Other than things like that. And there's lots of examples of mutualism. The clownfish and sea anemone is one of the real obvious ones. The clownfish is protected by the sea anemone, and the sea anemone is cleaned by the clownfish. So we've got those two things going on. We've got the bacteria that live in your large intestine. They help to break down certain things that you can't digest and release some vitamins that you need. And your nice, warm, cozy 100-degree large intestine in the dark with lots of organic material gives them just their perfect living space. Let's see. So cowbirds, you've probably seen a cowbird, but you didn't know what you were seeing. No, it's not a bird that looks like a cow. That would be interesting. It is a black bird with a brown head. Now, cowbirds are an interesting illustration of both of these relationships. Cowbirds are called cowbirds because they like to hang around cows. And they will eat insects that are associated with cows, which in some cases at least helps to clean up the insect load on the cow and also provides food for the cowbird. But cowbirds are also an example of parasitism because cowbirds have this nasty habit. It's not even really like a habit, it's what they have to do, of laying their eggs in other birds' nests. So a cowbird might find a robin nest when the robin mother is out, and it just kind of sits there and lays its egg and flies away. Well, the cowbird eggs hatch a little sooner than most other birds, and they grow a little faster than most other birds. And so while mom is feeding her young and the cowbird is getting bigger and bigger, and her own young are getting less and less food and starving to death and getting knocked out of the nest. So that's actually considered a kind of parasitism, even though that particular organism is not living on the mother. It's just stealing the resources of the nest. Josh, what do you got? You had your hand up.
One of the ones I had was the fact that I did predation, and one of the big things is it's not just like animal and animal. It could be animal and plant, and one of those examples would be like the Galapagos tortoise eating cactus plants.
Sure. Predation is when one organism kills another, eats, may or may not kill. So the difference between parasitism and predation can be fairly, usually it's pretty clear, but if you try and define them on paper, the definition on paper isn't always as easy as you want it to be. The Galapagos turtle eating the cactus, it's a predator to the cactus. I mean, in a manner of speaking, the horse or cow grazing in the field is a predator to the grass. So what's the difference between if a bear kills you and eats you, or a malaria parasites crawl around in your liver, eating your liver and ultimately kill you? Sometimes it's hard to draw the line between parasitism and predation.
I don't think the bear kills you for biological reasons. It's probably more survival instinct.
Probably mostly, but if it's hungry enough, maybe the lion, I don't know. Yeah, there's not much that kill people, but I guess that's not particularly my main point. What else you got? Who's got something else? Yeah, I see you, Rose. I see you.
Okay, so I had competition. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, okay. So I did competition, and I put an example for the 3 types because there are 3 types. So competition is an interaction between organisms or species where both of the organisms are harmed in some way or inconvenienced. And it normally results from a lack of resources like their food, water, or like habitat, and that are used by both of the species or organisms. So it's going to cause competition. And So the three ways are interference, exploitative, and apparent. So for exploitative, okay. Let me find it. Okay, exploitative is a form interfering, like physically, whether it's like foraging. So one example is two species of ants, the red harvester ants, and then the other one just has a scientific name that I can't pronounce.
All right.
But the scientific one, they plug the hole of their colony with small rocks so that the other ones won't come in and try to steal their stuff or try to inhabit their habitat. And then for exploitative, it takes place indirectly through common limiting resource. So plants will consume nitrogen through their roots, and then it'll make nitrogen unavailable to plants nearby. So that's just inconvenient for the other plants. And then apparent, this one was interesting to me. Apparent competition is between two species that are preyed upon by the same predator. And so if one of the species that's the prey becomes more prevalent, it'll cause the other species that's the prey to like get smaller because the predator is having more food from the surplus of the first prey. So then there'll be more to eat the second prey. So then the second prey number will go down because the first prey number went up, which is kind of like I had to read it a few times to get what they were trying to say, but I got it. So, yep, that's what I got for competition.
Right. Sometimes competition is not as obvious as you might think it is. For example, well, it's not as obvious to you. It's probably obvious to them. White-tailed deer and squirrels compete for acorns. They particularly prefer the white oak acorns. And know that the white-tailed deer don't climb the tree and eat the acorns out of the tree. But in the fall, when the acorns start to drop, both the squirrels and the deer are eating those acorns. And you wouldn't even think of squirrel and deer as being competitors, maybe. So competition may not always be as straightforward as you might think it would be. All right, what else you got? Mies.
For me?
Well, you could go if you wanted, but Mies raised her hand there, so.
I'll let her go.
All right. You're unmuted.
All right. The last one I got was commensalism. Yes, no, is that how you say it? Close enough.
Close enough. Commensalism.
Yeah, that word. Which is basically where one like species or whatever benefits, another one is like pretty much just not good or bad. It's not really affected.
Right.
And the example I got is tree frogs use trees as protection. So the tree frog can use it like to get away from whatever is like predator is, and the tree just kind of chills and doesn't really have anything good or bad happen to it.
Yep. Well, actually, I think I want to go here. So I'm going to my Facebook. I want to show you some, and I'm going to switch to, and so I'm doing multiple data, using data on multiple apps right now, and that'll probably slow something down. So I need to go to share. All right, so let's see, Facebook, and I want to go to my pictures and albums, and there's an album. Some of you have lurked around on my Facebook, maybe. There's a album called I Can't Help It, I'm a Science Teacher. And this picture right here has a tree frog. And I'm sure that you're, a intelligent thinking person, and you probably would, you can probably pick it out pretty quickly. Right there on this blown over tree limb is a tree frog, which, yep, lives in the tree and it doesn't do anything to the tree. Good example of commensalism. Also a good example of one that you folks haven't mentioned yet. Any ideas? Camouflage. Notice how the markings on this strongly resemble the color and the kind of markings on the lichens on the trunk of this tree. So camouflage is just like it sounds, just like it is in regular old life, where they happen to blend in with their surroundings for the sake of not being seen. There's another one here. Right there is a spider that is camouflaged. And speaking of tree frogs, imagine driving down the road, looking out your window, and seeing that. You just kind of look over to the left and, God, that thing looks like it's about ready to land on your face, but it's not. There's a window there. But it does very interestingly point out the little suction cup-like things on the end of their toes that lets them grab on to the trees and so on. But that one's just, I don't know, nothing. All right, similar to camouflage is mimicry. Anyone have mimicry? Anyone? Anyone? Go ahead, Mies.
One that I saw is like the zone-tailed hawk, whatever that is, will mimic like certain vultures to catch prey. So I don't know.
All right. Can we well, mimicry, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to unshare.
Or like different snakes will look like each other to look like scalier. Like the king snake and the coral snake.
All right, you're gonna have to stare at my frog on the window picture because I can't figure out how to stop share. Oh, there it is, right there. Stop share. All right, yes, coral snake and king snake, and there's and then there's the coral snake and the snake that we looked at, the different varieties, which was milk snake. And then, so that's where we get this, and I don't remember how it goes. Red on black, you're in luck. I don't know. You're dead, Jack, or something like that. Cutesy little saying that probably, I see that cat. Probably none of you. Yes, Grace. Grace.
Would that be the same category as a monarch butterfly? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Monarch butterfly and viceroy butterfly. I think you've got a bet. Okay, all of you just stop dead. I'm still going, but all of you are stopped dead. I don't know what that means. Don't know if you, you guys should see my screen. It's freaking me out.